explanation by Advocate Johnson, there appears to be impropriety. Just making a comment.
That is correct, Commissioner. It appears to be, and I think to me, and once again, it's my opinion. Once again, if there wasn't any impropriety, she would have told me on the 7th. She would have volunteered information saying that I was duped. It might not look good, but it is an explanation, and we could have actually gone after General Khan because what she is allegedly guilty of, he's also allegedly guilty of, because he sourced the documents from her.
Thank you.
Johnson told me that Advocate Betoy showed her the Colonel's affidavit when I met with her on the 7th of September 2022. In Mr. Bateman's WhatsApp messages to Advocate Nell on 5 September 2022, he said that Advocate Johnson told him that Advocate Betoy approached her about the Colonel's affidavit. He says that Advocate Johnson told him she was not interested in seeing the statement. Mr. Bateman also mentioned in his WhatsApp messages to Advocate Nell and Advocate Johnson that
told him that I had no choice.
No choice but to approach General Labia. This confirms to me that General Labia met Advocate Betoy and gave her the Colonel's affidavit. And thereafter, Advocate Betoy either showed or gave the Colonel's statement to Advocate Johnson. There is a part in one of the messages, and I don't recall reading it, in which Bateman, as part of his WhatsApp messages, says there's an issue between Khan and Petley. Now, that information could have only come from the affidavit itself. From
Yes, it is there. You did read it.
Oh, I did, sorry. So if I did it, I'm sorry. But that information was in the affidavit.
Yes, it's on page 53 of the screenshots.
If you have access to the affidavit, you would have known that kind of detail.
You may continue. Paragraph 26.
On 31 January 2025, I retired from the South African Police Service. At that stage, we were unable to secure the appointment of a prosecutor to consider both Brigadier Petley's criminal complaint against General Khan and the allegations against Advocate Johnson of what I considered to be defeating the ends of justice. When I retired, the docket was assigned to Captain McLean, who had worked with me on the case from the start and to whom I report regularly on my interactions with role players where he had not accompanied me. I think it's important for the Commission to hear from Captain McLean and the Colonel as well, because they will corroborate my version, especially regarding what I reported to Captain McLean contemporaneously. It may be important corroboration if those implicated attempt to rewrite history. And then paragraph 28, I hope that my testimony will assist the Commission in its important work.
Thank you, Commissioners. That's the evidence of the Colonel.
Colonel, when you met with Advocate Johnson on the 7th of September, did you mention to her, or did you get the impression, if you did, that she knew that this was a protected disclosure?
Commissioner, I can't answer the question because she did not allude to anything like that, but what I do know, if she had access to the affidavit, which I believe she did, she would have seen it would have been in, it was a protected disclosure based on the facts in the affidavit itself.
Based on the facts, you mean the nature of the allegation?
The nature of the allegation, where she worked, the fact that she could be intimidated, the fact that the guy was a superior officer. So those are the things, if you look at the act itself, those are the kind of things that you look out for when it is a protected disclosure.
Thank you.
Colonel, I prefer the Afrikaans because I'm a Rauki.
And I do not prefer the rank because, quite frankly, I'm not a huge fan of the ranks within the police.
The English and the Australians prefer Colonel.
Yes.
In paragraph 12 of your statement, you seem to be suggesting that what Advocate Johnson did amounts to interference with investigation and defeating the ends of justice. What is it about her conduct constitutes, according to you, interference with investigation and defeating the ends of justice?
Well, there's Commissioners, there's more than two issues, but the ones that comes to mind is the fact that she would warn a suspect before the time of, and provide the statement before that person is entitled to the statement, the suspect is entitled. And as a prosecutor, she must know that. The second thing is calling the witnesses and calling me in and calling Bateman. That to me is another huge red flag, because she is, as far as I'm concerned, the implicated person. She did not deny that she was duped by Khan. She did not say that had I known this was the issue. So that never happened. So as far as I'm concerned, when I was in there and that happened, that is why I'm saying this, that it was done deliberately. So there's more than two things. It's also the effect of a call from someone of her stature to a witness saying to him, I'm giving you a heads up, the Hawks is going to come and talk to you. That to me is also not on. And then the second thing is to imply you don't have anything to worry about. You know, it's sort of trying to comfort the guy. But why make the call in the first place? Because you're telling him, actually, you know, you've got something to worry about. So make sure that you say the right thing. That is my inference from the situation itself. Because we don't do things like this when we investigate matters. As an investigating officer, I don't do things like this. So I expect more from a prosecutor when it comes to this kind of action.
And then the documents that she would have obtained from Mr. Bateman. I understand that Mr. Bateman at the time was a journalist.
That is correct.
So is it not fair then to say the documents or the docket or its contents were already in the public domain because the journalist already was in possession of them? Even the journalist himself could have given them to General Khan.
I understand the question, but I don't. But the docket or the information in the docket is not supposed to be in the public domain. It got there in an unsanctioned format. Because if you look at it, Mr. Bateman was not entitled to that documents. So it's not part of the public domain. The public domain comes when you go to court and the documents are handed up. Then it is public domain. But at that point in time, it's not in the public domain. The fact that you have a source who gave you the documents does not make it in the public domain, not as far as I'm concerned when it comes to a reporter. You can't circumvent the process just because the source gave you the information.
So in short, you say even Mr. Bateman was not properly in possession of the docket And Ms. Johnson should have known that when she received it from him, and she should not have shared it with the with the suspect in the assault complaint.
That is correct, Commissioners. And I think what takes it further for me is the fact that she requested that private emails being used, because it was done on her Gmail account. She asked the Colonel to go to her Gmail account, and she also asked the Colonel to delete the emails when it was done. So those things, if it was an above board conversation, you would use your NPA email account. You would request the documents, because you are actually entitled to request documents in her position. But if you want to put a layer between yourself and the request, that is when you go off the grid and you do it that way. She had access to her official email. She did not have to use a Gmail address, and did not have to ask the witness to destroy or to delete the emails. So those are the things that is what made it that is what informed me of what she did.
Demanded from Mr. Asif Mohammed.
I understood this to be some kind of a protection fee, Commissioners, that Mr. Belichin was extorting from this individual.
And your basis for that understanding stems from?
It stems from the provided bank statement from the victim, which depicts regular payments, weekly or 2 days apart or 3 days apart, of exorbitant amounts.
Witness N, perhaps before we go to those bank statements, in the paragraph immediately thereafter, in paragraph 29, you deal with the issue of the WhatsApp conversations. Perhaps address that paragraph and then let's continue from there, please.
He shared a printout of the WhatsApp conversation, which I attached as X7. A reading of the messages reveals a pattern of Mr. Belichin repeatedly demanding money from Mr. Asif Mohammed, and threats to him are highlighted. He also provided
Witness N, before we get to paragraph 30, you reference annexure X7 in paragraph 29. You see that?
X7, yes, I do.
Could I ask you to go to page 33 of your annexure bundle, page 33?
It was Mr. Asif Mohammed himself who gave me this printout.
Thank you.
From his cell phone and the conversations between himself and Sunil.
And witness, and this document is quite a voluminous document, but in certain places, certain aspects of the document have been highlighted. I'll take you, for example, to page 46.
Yes. Where it says, "I will kill you."
The pink highlight on page 46.
That is correct.
Do you see the date there? Could you read the date and the time?
The date is the 21st of August, 2025 at 17:25.
And the sender of the message is?
It is written Sunil.brew.
And this is the individual the screenshot that you referred to earlier on page 55.
That is correct.
And in your witness statement, you indicate that this is an extract provided to you by Mr. Asif Mohammed of his WhatsApp chats with Mr. Belichin. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And who presented this highlight in the texts? Who made these markings in the WhatsApp chats?
When Asif pointed out, I then highlighted as he pointed out because I did ask him to show me when exactly and where does he state certain averments were made.
And